learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self confidence and personal growth. We have certain ground rules to follow while we are in this meeting. Let's not talk about sex, religion, and politics. Let us be on mute when we are not speaking. Let us turn off our video if we are stepping out of the meeting. That being said, let me start the 40th meeting. Now I hand over the control to the very vivid, vivacious, and vigorous President Toastmaster Arathi. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sruthy, for your play of words with alliterations and making my day. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome to the 40th meeting of Toastmasters. It's indeed a milestone meeting for us. Every 5s and every 10s count. So let's give ourselves a big round of applause for reaching this milestone. Today we have two guests with us. Let's start with a guest introduction. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself, give your name, your organization, and how you came to know about Toastmasters in a minute, under a minute? Annei?
Okay, I've been a guest for so many times. So I'm working with Technopark Park Center. I've been with the Park Center for the past 23 years, and I've been with we from 2012 onwards. So that's how I came to know about Toastmasters Club, and now I'm here with you all just to take a feel of how things are going, and so that in the future I could be part of the Toastmasters Club.
We would love to have
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. Can guests rename themselves as guest _ your name? Can we hear from guest Ashik? Please introduce yourself and how you came to know about Toastmasters. In a minute. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Ashik. I'm from Thrissur. I came to know about Toastmaster from this. There was this meeting going on 2 weeks back as part of my college is something. They are planning to create a community there, so I was part of that particular meeting. So came to know that there are some other clubs as well. So I am not a student, so they told me that it would be better for me to join one of the other clubs, and gave me the contact info. So I am working as an associate at EYGDS Trivandrum. So that's it.
Okay, welcome Ashik to our meeting. Hope you enjoy the meeting today. We have another guest, Juniper. Hi, can you be on video? Yeah, there. Hi, welcome to our meeting. Can you introduce yourself for the rest of the team in a minute?
Sure. Good afternoon, all. It's 12:10. Yes, good afternoon. My name is Juniper Kiran. I'm based out of Bangalore. By profession, I'm a clinical therapist, clinical psychologist, and a therapist, and I work full-time with Suntech. Arathi is the one who invited me for the Toastmasters meeting today, and I'm very much glad to be here. I see food and I relate to it very closely, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it today.
All right, welcome Juniper, and welcome all guests. Let's start proceedings of our meeting number 40. We always read about countries being ranked on gross happiness index, right? It's a measure of how happy the people are. The parameters may be a little political, like your GDP per capita, the social setup, etc. And accordingly, what do you think, or which countries do you think are the happiest places? Any guesses?
Bhutan.
Bhutan, yes. There is Finland also being said as the happiest place to be in. Now for us, where would we say is our happy place? Our happy place is somewhere where we are able to be ourselves, be in the company of loved ones. Because happiness is not just about what we get, it is also about what we give to others. So today, I hope our meeting is going to be a happy place for all of us, because today for the next 1 hour, we are going to have a very energetic person going to be the master of ceremony or the Toastmaster of the day, going to lead this meeting into a very happy place. And for that, let me invite our VP Education, Toastmaster Sruthy. She has joined us very recently and taken up as the VP Education. And I would say H&R Block's loss is Technopark Toastmasters Club's win. We're so happy to have you on board, Shruti. And today, let's hear from you. What is your topic for the day? Over to you, Toastmaster Shruti.
Thank you for that introduction, Toastmaster Arathi. Baby, let me see it. Jalebi, baby. I just wanna eat it. Jalebi, baby. I am very sure you have heard this song and the tune may not be like this. But I'm not a big music fan. But this Punjabi English song caught my attention because of the word jalebi. I am proud to say that I am a foodie. Fellow Toastmasters, dear guts, raise your hand if you love food. Can see both hands raised from many people here. Thank you, and I relate with you all on the single theme, food. Love at first bite is a humble attempt to revive those moments when we fell in love with somebody's signature dishes, somebody's recipes, maybe the sumptuous cuisines across the world. For me, love at first bite happened in Chennai when my cousin took me for this unlimited Punjabi thali meal. I was eyeing this platter for the first time in my life. And can you imagine what my response was? I might need one more plate like this to fill my tummy. He said, okay, let's wait and see. 1 hour later, I was still struggling to finish it off, that big plate with various gravies. Then I did a little bit of research on what this is all about. So it is a proud platter from Indian food style. This is known as bhojanam. And the catch about this is that all the 6 different flavors are blended in: sweet, salt, sour, astringent, spicy, bitter. We Indians believe that a meal is perfect when all these 6 flavors are blended in. That is thali meals. So I am a huge fan of Punjabi thali meals, but I love all thali meals, South Indian and North Indian. What are your favorite dishes? What are all those moments you still can reminisce about during your childhood, during your adulthood? Which is that food you will love to have depending on your emotions when you're sad or angry or happy. So let's go through all that. I am keeping this floor open for the next 2 minutes for hearing from you. Anyone can pitch in. We have 2 minutes. Nobody? Anyone wants to
My
share?
my favorite would be what you see in my background, beef dry fry. I mean, I can eat it alone, right? I mean, without anything else like rice or parota, nothing else, right? I like it a lot. I mean, it's not my childhood favorite, but I mean, ever since I started working in Trivandrum and settled down here, and at that time I was a bachelor too. This used to be there at least once a week, right? So this is my favorite. Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster
And
Manu. Yeah, please go ahead, Smitha.
food, again, like everybody says, an emotion for me. Happy, I want food. Sad, I want food. Hyper, excited, work time, stress, pressure. Food is all that can, relax me. Like you see, chocolate cake is one of my favorite things. Of course, without these cream, just, rich chocolate cake. It's just the cake. Along with the coffee, I need my coffee cake in the morning, otherwise I won't be happy. And after every meal, it is sweet time and mostly a cake. I will always have cake in my fridge, and if there is a last piece, I'll make sure I don't let my daughter know, and I'll finish it on my own. It's that bad. Looks like I have to go to a sugar de-addiction center. And food is everything for me.
Thank you for that passionate share, Smitha. Anyone else would like to give it a try?
Yeah.
Okay, Annie here. Okay, so my when I realized I am a foodie, like when I was 20 years old or something, like when I went to a hotel called Breeze Hotel, where my mother used to take me after all the shopping is over. She used to treat me with a plate of biryani, and which actually I still remember the taste of the chutney which was served with that, and the salad which was served there, and the lemon pickle which was served with that. Still, it is still. I don't know how well the hotel is or anything. The way they served, and the taste which was there. After that, I have been for the easier making. I have been using all these noodles and lasagna, everything like easier, foodies which can be made at home, where for which I have been become, as my background shows, the South Asian dishes, which is easier to make. So that's why I became more closer to those dishes. But this is how we, and as Smitha was telling, I also, like, whenever I become sad, when I become happy, whatever it is, whatever, I just pick an occasion, I have something to eat so that I'm happy. I feel happy about, about that. So that's it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie, for sharing that. One day I would like to go somewhere with you just to get
Thank you.
introduced to the South Asian dishes. So thank you, everyone. From the passionate foodie, Smitha just changed her colors to the timer and showed me the red card. So let us go ahead with our session. For the benefit of girls, our Toastmasters session is divided into 3 segments. First, introducing the role takers. Second, the prepared speeches. And third, the table topics. And finally, we will have the evaluation segment. So let us start with the introducing the role takers. And for that, I cordially invite General Evaluator Toastmaster Arathi. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sruthy. I'm happy to be back here in a different role as a general evaluator. For the benefit of the guest, the general evaluator plays an active listening role, listening to all the speakers today and making notes of what happens in the meeting. The intent is to give feedback, specific feedback on you so that you can improve. To assist me, I have a set of 3 role players today. They are known as a tag team, that is a timer, R counter, and grammarian. As a timer today, I have Toastmaster Smitha. Smitha is a customer success director at Zafin. I would have introduced her as a success manager last week, but now let me share the happy news with her. She has been recently promoted as a director at Zafin. Let's put our hands together to congratulate her and welcome her to explain what her role is. Over to you, Smitha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arathi, for that. Okay, as my role as timer today, I have to remind all the speakers as to how much time they spent on their speech, thereby ensuring that we keep this meeting on time. And here is what I will do to remind you of how much time you have spent. I have 3 little cards here. I hope you can see the green one, the red, and the yellow one. For icebreaker speeches, we have set the time limit as 4 to 6 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. And at the end of 5 minutes, the yellow card, showing that you need to speed up or try to conclude what you've been speaking about. And at the end of 6th minute, I will raise the red card. For all the individual evaluations, we have set the time between 2 to 3 minutes. Again, at the end of 2 minutes, a green card will be shown, a yellow card at the end of 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and a red card at the end of 3 minutes. Last session, which is the table topic session, that speakers are allowed to speak or give their impromptu speech in a span of 2 minutes time. At the end of 1 minute, again, the green card will be raised. 1 minute, 30 seconds, the yellow card. And at the end of 2 minutes, I'll show the red card. You are also allowed for a grace period of 30 seconds to wind up your speeches, for which the red card will be displayed in my screen. So you can hand over the control back to the next speaker. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smitha. Your innovative timer card is very good. It reminds me of ice lollies, the different colored ice lollies, and good that you came up with some prop that is in line with this. Now let us see the R counter. Today's R counter is a deputy manager from Allianz. She is into the insurance domain and she always keeps herself updated, learning something, upskilling herself. She's a newest member and she's trying her first time at a role, the R counter role. Let me welcome Annie to explain the roles for her today.
Thank you, Arathi. Thank you very much. Good morning, all. Toastmaster of the day, Sruthy, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words such as and, well, but, so, like, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds like and will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Shruti. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take it. Thank you, Annie, for explaining the role. Now, the third evaluator that I have, role player that I have is Rina, who would be playing the role of a grammarian. Rina has 30 years plus experience in the industry, and she is known for setting up businesses from scratch, and now she works as a corporate skill transformation consultant. Over to you, Rina, for explaining your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi, Toastmaster of the day Shruti, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the grammarian, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to the language that they use. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As the grammarian, it is also my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. The word of the day today is sumptuous. I'm sorry, sumptuous is so tiny that you can hardly see it. And the meaning of sumptuous is extremely costly, rich, luxurious, or magnificent. And this word can be used in these in this context. For example, the banquet was a sumptuous, luxurious meal. Or his palace was more sumptuous than the temples of the gods. Or the guests turned up dressed in sumptuous evening gowns. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and I will give the grammarian report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Arathi. I hand over the floor to you.
Thank you, Rina, for explaining the word of the day. We have always associated sumptuous with something to eat, but thank you for bringing out a different flavor for it. Let's hope that we have a lot of learnings from your sumptuous learning meeting today. And let's get back to the meeting. Thanks, and back to you, Sruthy, Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Arathi. Now that we are introduced to the sumptuous combination of role takers for this session, let us get going with segment number 2, that is the prepared speeches. We have our Toastmaster Manu attempting from his pathway strategic relationships on level 2, project 2 on cross-cultural understanding. What can I say about the speaker today? This person is quite modest, meek, but meticulous. Give him newsletter, he will give it out with 100%. You say that you need to show more progress in your pathways. Then every week he will come up with a speech and finish off his level. So that is Toastmaster Manu. Let me invite his speech evaluator, Toastmaster Arathi, onto stage to explain the rules and guidelines for his level. Over to you, Arathi.
Thank you. Just give me a minute. Toastmaster Manu is attempting his level 2, project 2, cross-cultural understanding in the pathway strategic relationship. About the speech, the member is going to deliver a prepared speech and he will show or share some aspects of his cultural identity and the stereotypes that impacts others' perception of the person. It can be a humorous, informative, or any other style that the member chooses. It will not be a report on the content, cross-cultural understanding report. With that, I wish Toastmaster Manu all the best, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sruthy.
Thank you, Arathi, for explaining the expectations from Manu's project. Now, Manu, I see that you have a background. Do you want to turn it off and change your? Do you want to turn
fine,
off your
I think.
background?
I think that's
your gestures will be blurred.
okay.
I just wanted to. Yeah. All set?
Yes.
Okay. Toastmaster Manu, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Toastmaster Manu.
Indirappi vellangalakka kudicha. Can anyone guess which region slang I just now told? Anyone?
Trivandrum?
Trivandrum.
Yes, that's right.
Trivandrum.
Yeah, our beautiful Trivandrum. But you know what the most funny part is? None of us talks like that, right? I mean, most of the people that I know in Trivandrum does not talk like this. They talk normal Malayalam slang and without this added color to it. It's a very small set of people in some regions of Trivandrum which talks in this particular slang, but thanks to comedy shows, movies, and some actors from Trivandrum itself, people outside Trivandrum or even outside Kerala thinks that the whole Trivandrum talks like this. I've had instances where my family members were made fun of because of this slang. My friends, right, whenever they come in, people used to talk, okay, with this Trivandrum slang, right? But in a fun way itself. This is called as cultural stereotypes, a generalized belief how people in a particular culture behaves. Now, there is positive as well as a negative stereotype as well. In this case, I will say it is a negative stereotype because this is used to make fun of some certain set of people, right? Now, while understanding culture, it is always good not to assume things and have a first-hand knowledge. By first-hand knowledge, what I am referring to is something we actually have seen or heard. Now, in my current role in support, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of people, different cultures from different countries, right? And I'll give you some examples. Now, people from Japan, they are very detail oriented. If you're going to them, we have to ensure that you give them the very minute things, even if it's not a critical issue, right? They expect all the details that we can tell them. But on the other side of the world, like US customers, I mean, for critical issues, yes, they need very detailed information, but for general issues, they don't really care. As soon as, I mean, as long as the issue is resolved, it doesn't matter for them. And we have also had instances for Japanese customers where our directors had to fly into that country to apologize to them face to face, right? But we never had those sort of issues from an US perspective. And from a Middle East perspective, they like to be hand-holded a lot. You cannot just give a document and say that, oh, go and do this according to the document. They will surely cry out. But if you do that to a US customer, they are generally okay. I mean, all as long as the documentation is sort of clear, they can follow it. It doesn't really matter to them. So the above is called as cultural attributes because they are the reality based on the first-hand knowledge that I had, or first-hand things that I've seen or heard, or when I interacted with them, right? And I'm fortunate to live in our part of the world, in Kerala, right? We don't have any limitations in terms of food, right? Any functions that we generally have, the food served is very sumptuous, right? And in our house itself, I mean, the food that is served, I mean, we eat all the non-veg type of foods, beef or pork or chicken or fish, you name it. I mean, everything is there, not every day, but at least, I mean, that would be there in most of the lunch or dinner. But there are people in other cultures who doesn't eat some of these foods, right? I mean, if I'm inviting a Muslim friend of mine to my house, I will never serve pork at that time, because that is not something that they will have. So that is also another important part, right? I mean, we have to understand what the other culture is and also behave according to what they also like to be treated, right? Don't assume that, okay, they'll be okay with whatever we are going to do or what we are going to tell. So I'll end this with a quote from Paulo Coelho. He said once, culture makes people understand each other better. So let's don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manu, for starting with the capital city of Kerala with that slang and then taking us from Japan to US. What a wonderful, sumptuous speech to hear in the afternoon. Thank you very much. Now we are done with the prepared speech segment and we are moving on to the next segment, that is the table topics. For that, I invite table topics master Prakash onto stage. Prakash, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for that warm introduction. And table topics give you an opportunity to give an impromptu speech on a topic that I provide. And the timing is basically 1 to 2 minutes. And the timer will show you the card. Anyone can participate in this. So I would like to have a volunteer to start this activity. So anyone would like to start? Who would like to go first?
Please don't worry about the topics. It's all about food and you will love it.
Prakash, I can go first. I can volunteer.
Ashik?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll present my screen. Yeah, your topic is there any food that brings the memory of someone special to you?
Okay, so this particular topic take my memory back to the day I joined the college, and the day I went to hostel and take admission. So that particular day we had no mess at that time, so we all had to go out and go to some nearby hotel and have food. So that day, that's the first day when we all actually met, and we actually came to know about their places, like they are from different part of the state. So they told about their state, and we walked to the hotel nearby. So we all had the usual biryani. It was chicken biryani. The thing was there in that particular hotel we will get egg along with this chicken biryani. So one of my friend uh, took that uh, egg and swallow it in a go. So it was very quick. So everyone was looking at him and was laughing the way he ate that egg. So this particular memory would always be in my head till I die, I guess. So that's it.
Thank you, Ashik, for that warm memory that you had. In fact, most of us had really good memories about our college days. I hated the food that they provided at college, but unfortunately, when I look back, I am now following the same menu because, of course, various health reasons are, we wanted to be healthy. And at that time, I hated these drumstick curries and all those stuffs, the vegetable stuffs. But yeah, life. And the next topic, who would like to go for the next topic?
Prakash, I would like to go. Dave here.
Manu?
Dave has volunteered.
Okay, yep. Sorry.
We missed Dave's introduction, so maybe he can introduce himself.
Yeah, Dave, your topic is that what is the most romantic food to have or that you had?
Okay. On seeing the theme, I was expecting some topic around your favorite food or your worst food. So I was preparing in that way, but still this topic is quite relevant because first of all, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I got married recently, which I say means 1 year back. So obviously the first food you have with your wife is always romantic. And in Hindu marriage culture, the first time the wife has to serve the husband. And my marriage also is happened in Trivandrum. It was also a proper Hindu custom. And that is the only time she started feeding me. And after that, I've never seen that happen. And I believe that was cute and romantic. And also she asked me to take outside. So I am in Trivandrum, and this is the first time I come to Trivandrum. I'm from Tamil Nadu. So I was going to a shop called as Puttukada. Maybe most of you would know, in Trivandrum. And fortunately, it was also a bit romantic as well as comedy, in the sense that she wanted to try something new, and I want to try some basic thing. But at the end, what has happened is that she's not able to eat what she ordered, and I ended up eating both puttu which we ordered. So that was both romantic as well as comedy food we had. To sum it up, fellow Toastmasters, the food is most important thing. And initially when I joined, the Toastmaster of the day was asking your favorite food, and to answer that as well as the food which our most loved one, maybe your mother or wife, they prepare. I think that has to be our favorite food, because it not only serves you, it is an emotional connect. Like those food are with love and affection along with the food. So fellow Toastmasters, be with your family and eat the food they give rather than going to hotels. Thank you. Back to you, Prakash. And
Thank you, Dev. Guests are really, they are giving good speeches today. And now, first of all, I just wanted to say that I have chosen this topic because, I, of course, wanted to take my wife to somewhere if someone suggests some good place. Anyway, that did not happen. But you were able to bring back the memories that I had when I got married, the same thing from Trivandrum. And of course, the first few days would be always we will be the king, and we feel like we'll be the king. Then eventually we end up being the servants. So, who would like to go next?
Shall I?
Yeah, sure. Share my screen. Yeah, rain and coffee, tea, or black tea. What would you prefer on a rainy day?
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash. It looks so romantic having black tea on a rainy day and sipping it gently, looking out of the window and watching the rain drops pattering away on the leaves and reminiscing of the time when you spent with your friends on a rainy day. And the black tea, it is also called, there's a Malayalam word for it. What is it?
Sulaimani.
Sulaimani, yeah, Sulaimani. And those days were not only emotional and filled with joy, it was also very romantic because we had a bunch of friends who used to share their outings with their boyfriends and tell us, how they used to stand out in the rain and sip Sulaimani and wait to get drenched and come rushing into the hostel. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rina. Black tea, that's a good combination actually. In fact, the Sulaimani, there is I think there is on the California, there is a hotel next to Techno Park. Before going to that hotel, there is I think they started somewhere around 3-4 years back. They serve really good Sulaimanis. It's just like yesterday, it happened yesterday, but it's almost 3 years we did not get a chance to drink that. Thanks for it was such a beautiful, and the way you presented it was just awesome. Thank you. And who would like to volunteer next? Sruthy, do we have time for?
We can wind it up with this topic, Prakash.
The last one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, who would like to go next? Annei, you would like to go? Smitha?
Can the timer go? Annei, where are you?
Okay, I can take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll share my screen. So, what food has the best aroma?
Okay. Good afternoon, Toastmasters, guests, and my dear friends. For me, the nose is what is make the food aromatic, because the nose, the eyes, the ears, all the sense organs which makes it aromatic. Because most of us like they do have different likes. So when their best food is made in the kitchen, that smell which comes in, actually the eyes which sees the food, and the smell which comes in, and the ear which the sound of the the whatever mustard is being put, and that smell, that is more important than whatever the food is made. But for me, like a foodie, I feel each and every food is aromatic and good for my nose. So that's it.
Thank you, Annei, for that interesting perspective. Actually, I was just, looking at your background, and that's basically bringing in all the aroma. And especially, I like the smell of the food that they serve in the continental food they serve in, flights, especially from European countries, if you travel. So I simply love that. Of course. Yeah, the nose plays an important role, and in fact, my wife used to tell that, I always love the color of the food rather than the taste. And if avial is not in that yellowish color, then I don't eat that. Okay, anyway, thanks for that. Thank you. I think with that, we will wind up the session. And I'll once again thank you, everyone. Ashik, Dev, Rina, and Annie. Thank you for the participation. And over to you, Toastmaster Sruthy.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Prakash. When we first look at Prakash, we will feel that, okay, this man is very serious. But you also, how he carried on as the table topics master today, losing all that seriousness and bringing out his own personal stories, making all the topics very interesting. Good job, table topics master. And kudos to all the speakers here. The guests wonderfully participated, and it was so interesting to listen to you all today. The next thing is, what I have now is water in my mouth. I hate myself for bringing in this theme on a Friday afternoon. I now want a Sulaimani and I want rain outside. Rina, bring the rain right now. With that, we come to an end of our table topic session and moving on to the last and final segment, that is the catchy segment, which is the evaluations. And for that, I call upon General Evaluator Toastmaster Arathi. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sruthy. Let me now begin my evaluation session. So far we had fun. Now is the part where we do all the learning. Let's hear from the feedback for the different segments that we had. We will start with the formal evaluation for the speaker, our sole speaker today, Manu. And before I, as the evaluator, give feedback on Manu, can I call upon the timer to share the time that Manu took for his speech, Smitha?
Sure. Manu took, just a second, I have it in my sheet. 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
4 minutes. Okay. So Manu's timing was 5 to 7 minutes. Okay. All right. So as an evaluator, let me share feedback for Manu. Manu had a very great theme to share with us today: cultural understanding, cultural differences and stereotypes related to our work environment. And he brought in the difference, put it in perspective by explaining scenarios that we could really connect with, how cultural differences happen in our workplaces. How do we treat our customers differently, or what is the expectation from customers? So he has covered the different attributes for cultural differences and the different stereotypes that are associated both in the workplace as well as in his professional in his personal life. And to bring in the flavor of personal life, he took up a very common or very popular theme of using your language or your setting as the basis for bias. He also had a very good opening because he started with a question with a slang. He demonstrated the slang and had all of us very engaged from the word go. And then he could carry the audience through the anecdotes that he gave, and he could end up within time. I would say he fell a little short of the time. He had more time. Maybe he could have added a little more instances there. Now, if I could give some points for improvement, I would say your ending could have been with a little more bang. I felt that you wanted to finish it off quickly. You did not summarize a little bit more on the point that you were trying to make, or even the takeaway that you want the audience to have. Your hand movements were good, but you were a little repetitive with the same hand movement. So maybe you should try a different set of hand movements, but that has to be practiced. But I think from your initial speeches, your voice modulation and your usage of your intonation Everything has gone up very well. You have improved very much as a speaker, your confidence level and your voice and your temperament. Your poise is also very good. I think you had a very good speech as well. I would recommend that you consider the points to include more examples and take up a message and end it with a bang. That will take your speech to the next level. Thank you. And I will move on to the next session, which is the general evaluation of the whole meeting. And before I give my report, I would like to invite my team one by one. Let's start with the timer. Keeping an eye on the time, we will have probably a summary of the time, not specifically everyone's time. Smitha, over to you.
Sure, Arathi. TMOD, Shruti, slightly over. It was over by 1 minute and 30 seconds, so a total of 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Manu was well within the time, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Aarti's evaluation went a bit over by 45 seconds, so she's taken 2 minutes, 45 seconds. All the table topic speakers were well within the time. Ashik at 1 minute, 29 seconds. Dave at 1 minute and 50 seconds. Rina, 1 minute, 12 seconds. And Annei Moses, 1 minute, 9 seconds. So everything was well within the time that was allocated to them. Over to you, Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Smitha, for that concise report. Let's move on to the R counters report. Can I call upon Annei to share the R counters report?
Thanks, Arathi. Yes, everything went well. I was, this being my first time, I was totally glued to it and was to the topics. To start with, Manu, he just mentioned with, and as just twice, and I mean, other than that, it was perfect. By coming to TMOD, Shruti, I think just an R here or there, it's all. And with the guests, I was quite surprised. They were all coming up with topics. And most of them, like Annei, had the R and was her favorite words. And they've just had an R. And Ashish was probably taking so and twice or thrice. With Rina, I was just, for the moment, thought she was being very poetic and lost it in the beginning. But then, yes, it was just 3 R's that I could just count. That's all from the R counter. Thank you.
Thank you, Annei, for a job well done on your first role. Kudos to you for being an active listener and giving feedback. Now let's hear from the grammarian, Rina.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. Usage of word of the day. Arathi, Toastmaster Arathi, Toastmaster Shruti, and Toastmaster Manu used it a couple of times. And in terms of the grammar, Shruti used a lot of words like eyeing the plate. It was all very colorful, and there were some repetitive words like usage of the word right. But overall, everyone spoke grammatically correct English, and Shruti's usage of vocabulary is amazing. There was a lot of color and flavor to it to kind of resonate with the theme of food. And overall, everyone did very well. And Manu's speech was very informative and good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rina, for your grammarian's report. With that, let me come to my report. We started on time. Thank you, Shruti, for being the sergeant at arms and starting on time, so that Prakash could manage his meeting and then just join right on time. We started with the president's, Shruti, I think there is one correction. It is the presiding officer who starts the meeting, who is formally starting the meeting. And so I wanted to tell you that it will not be the sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms reads the settings and the rules. The president invited the guests to speak, and we missed one guest who joined later. If that happens during the table topics, if the guest is invited to speak, the topics master can ask him to introduce him, which Dave did in a at least in a short way. The speaker has been given a very good evaluation by myself. And so I will skip to that part. I will go straight away into the table topics. I appreciate Prakash for coming up with a topic that is very related to the theme, and even guests were encouraged to talk, which means that it was very simple. The guest spoke well. Like, I agree with Prakash when he says that the guest spoke well. Ashik about his college and mess, and that really took us to our days. And he had a very humorous picture painted of somebody swallowing the egg, and we could actually picture that just through his words. Well done, Ashik. They've also shared his romantic year of food adventures, and he said, enjoy what your mother and wife cooks. I object there. Why don't you cook and make the others happy as well? I made it a point to know that, and I wanted to tell you that. All right, Rina, as mentioned, went very poetic with her table topic, and we could picture her with the tea and maybe paripu vada and all that lovely picture that you painted. And Prakash mentioned about California. I really thought he was going to talk about San Francisco next, but it turned out to be the hotel next to Techno Park. So that brought back memories. Annie also brought in flavors about, give a different perspective talking about senses. In general, to all the table topic speakers, when you're invited to speak on an ad hoc manner, I know you will not be prepared, but the best way to set the context is you acknowledge the person who's calling you, you greet that person, you thank him for the topic, you repeat the topic, you talk about what you're going to say, and then get into your core message. You need not straight away jump into saying, okay, my least favorite food is this. You can just build up saying, like, I went to the canteen, then I saw this, and then I remembered this is my worst. So that actually gives you time to set your context, and that is how we typically do in table topics. But great attempt, everyone who did table topics today, and those who are preparing for the contest, please note and practice as much as you can. The tag team went strongly with me. Timer Smitha popped up in between her chocolate cake and flashed all the lights. Our counter, first time, great job. And Rina gave the Grammarian's report, marking who all has used the word as well. One suggestion to the Grammarian is that you mentioned that Sruthy had a lot of nice usages, but it would be really great if you could quote some of the usages that she did so that we all learn from it. Okay, maybe when you give a report, if you have noted it down already, if you have a report, then you can include that. If she had good usages, because we need to learn and add that in our vocabulary. One gentle comment to all of us who are sitting in a revolving chair, including me. Please note that you do not revolve when you're speaking. I found that Rina does that, and even I am guilty of that. That's probably why I notice well. Please be stationary at least when you are speaking. Do take care of that. With that, I come to the end of my evaluation. Just on time, we'll probably take 2 or 3 minutes to wind up formally. And let me hand over back to Sruthy for her closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arathi, for that comprehensive and helpful report on all the role takers and how we took forward with the meeting today. I hope we all had a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of fun, and a little bit of yearning for some of the delicacies in speakers' backgrounds today. As we are speaking, let me remind you that we all are blessed with so much in our life. But there is something that we should remember. There are almost more than 811 million people still going hungry. From 2019 to 2020, the number of undernourished people has increased by the number of 161 million. So let me take a moment here. Please close your eyes and repeat this after me. Can you all unmute yourselves? Close your eyes and repeat after me. I will think twice before wasting food.
I
I
will
will
think twice before.
Think twice before wasting food.
Thank you so much. And I hand over the control to Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sruthy. What a profound way of closing the meeting. Absolutely brilliant. We never thought that you would make us take a pledge. Look at the biryani plate behind me. It's so full. I do not know how I'm going to finish that. But luckily, my menu for the day is not this sumptuous. Thank you so much, Sruthy, for picking up a very light topic, engaging everyone, making it very comfortable for the guests to speak as well. Let us now hear from the guests, Ashik and Dev and Annei, on how they like the meeting and whether they would like to come back again as a member. Ashik?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session. So usually I don't go on and meet new people like in an official kind of way. So this thing, attending this Toastmasters meeting, I think it's nice. Like we can do something different. Yeah, I would love to join the Toastmasters club for sure.
Thank you, Ashik. That is very good. Like you said, this is a very supportive environment that you feel free to talk and practice, because if you're open to comments and feedback, you will definitely change. And most of us here are live testimonials on how we have improved from being very shy and introvert to being this, at least this kind of comfortable talking to a crowd that we hardly know. Like you said, we have people we meet here, but we want to connect. Guest Dave, would you like to share your feedback?
Yeah, Arathi, thanks for the opportunity. It was a wonderful meeting. Actually, already I'm a member at TCS Kochi Club. So I'm planning to take a transfer to TCS Trivandrum. We don't have a club in TCS Trivandrum, so I may join any one of the club in Trivandrum. It was a wonderful meeting, and you had a nice theme before, right before the lunch. So Arathi is going to give us the biryani delivered to each one of us, so that each guest will become a member soon. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It was a great meeting.
Yeah, you put me in a spot, Dave. I will turn it around and say, if you become a member, I will give you a biryani immediately. And in the round robin, I actually wanted to tell Sruthy that my favorite food is biryani, and I always make deals with people saying, you do this, I'll get you a biryani. I'll do this for you. I need a biryani. So all my barter system happens with biryani. So Ashik, so Dave, if you transfer, definitely one biryani on me. And Annie Moses.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. The last day I was talking to Radhika on, being part of the Toastmaster Club. So I was telling, I'm little, shy about joining in. Like I do have, as people say, like I'm an extrovert, but I don't know myself, like if I am an extrovert or an introvert. It keeps on, juggling inside ourselves. So what happens, like, we feel, but this platform has given me more, place to open up and, more friendly atmosphere, so that we can just say whatever we feel like, even though it goes wrong. We don't find that, people will judge you in that way or the other. So that's what I felt more interesting about it. So it'll take some more time for me to, make a decision or something like that. But still, I feel very comfortable being here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for joining. If you're ever undecided, I think Rina is the person you need to talk to, because she, with her level of experience, has been very open in saying that I have learned so much, but after coming to Toastmasters, I've decided to unlearn and start afresh, because every meeting there is a learning for me. I appreciate Rina for that. And thank you everyone for the sumptuous session that we have today. Sruthy, for bringing in a lot of memories and a happy meeting. Radhika, you missed a chance to share your thoughts. You just joined, I guess.
Thank you so much. I was listening in for a while now from Rina's speech and evaluation onwards. I see what I missed. A delicious mix of topics. Okay, next time.
Sure.
But yeah, weekdays are a little dicey for me, but I make sure that I don't miss Saturday sessions.
Absolutely.
And I can see Annei and oh, very good. This is going to get really interesting. So I'll just add one bit, yeah, Arathi. Just like Rina has mentioned, I have immensely benefited from being part of Toastmaster. I did not know where to stop when I speak. I start and I go on, and that punch was always lost. The message and the content is lost in translation. That was my story in storytelling. Now I know about the time in hand, how to make an impact. I have learned a lot and still learning. So thanks to you for being behind this club and being a force to reckon with.
Thank you, Radhika. A big round of applause to all the officers and members of Technopark Toastmasters. Let us go strong. So with that, I formally announce that the meeting is concluded. Meeting number 40 of Technopark Toastmasters is completed. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sruthy. And thanks everyone for joining in. I hope you had a great session. And see you on next Saturday. Then bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for the wonderful participation. Thank you all role takers.